all of us need rhythms. Like and we're not trying here today to be like, hey, here's all of our rhythms. This year's happening. It's going to keep happening. If you want the year to happen just to you, then don't have rhythms and just see what happens. But if you want to happen to the year instead, then you could have habits and you could have rhythms. Well, welcome everybody to the Fully Alive podcast with Michael and Megan Brusicki. I'm Michael.
And I'm Megan.
And it's a new year, new season, 2026 is upon us.
It's exciting. 2026.
I love it. I am excited.
2025 went by in a blink.
It was. I think every year goes by in a blink, though, as I get older. Don't get older.
Is that an age thing, you think, as we get older?
Maybe. I will say 2025, not my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know how we mark years. 2025, not my favorite. 2026, I'm believing right now going to be my favorite.
All right. That's exciting.
Can it be I want it to be your favorite too.
Yeah.
Are you willing to say right over
for it to be my favorite
in front of everybody that it'll be your favorite too?
Sure.
Let's ask a couple fun questions so that maybe some of our listeners, some of our friends can get to know us a little better as we start. What's a talent? Here's how I want to ask it. What's a talent that I have that surprises people?
You're dancing.
I am a great dancer. I think
it's surprising.
Yeah, it's really great. Dancing with the Stars one year, maybe.
Maybe, that could be interesting.
This could be my future.
It usually has to be like in a public place or a street.
Yeah.
That's the most likely place to see you break out and dance.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of a street.
I used to only do it when people wouldn't know me, but now I don't really care.
Yeah.
That's also an age thing, I think, that happens.
Probably true.
In life. What do you want to ask?
What is one of your highlights from last year?
Oh gosh, that's because last year wasn't a great year, and so now I'm really on the spot right now. What's a highlight I would pick from 2025? I mean, launching a school was really cool. Big highlight. We had a couple amazing. We got to go to Europe for the first time together.
Yeah.
Launched a kid into college, which was pretty big, huge highlight. So actually, there's a lot of things.
Highlight?
Well, that's why I said there's a lot of things that.
It was a painful highlight, but
there's a lot of things that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big year. There was a lot.
The Lord did a lot of things, so I don't want to dismiss that. I mean, there was a lot of really positives.
Yeah, it was a good year.
Yeah, overall. Just I want to do this, and then let's talk about serious things to start this year. What is the perfect thermostat setting?
5 degrees above whatever you had it set at.
5 degrees about what I had it set at.
Above what you set it at.
Yeah. So in the wintertime, 63 to 64 degrees at night while you sleep is an appropriate thermostat setting, just for everybody to know that. During the day, then while you're home, 68 is a good spot. Typically.
Okay, that's true. I don't go into the 70s really.
We were with some friends recently, and they keep their house more in the 70 to 72 degree range.
Yeah. I thought you were on safari or something.
I thought I needed to go get my swim trunks on and just see what might happen. Okay, let's get started today. Let's talk about really just the new year, healthy rhythms.
Yeah.
We're in a fast right now, 21 days of prayer and fasting with a live church. And
it's exciting.
It is. This year, this fast, we fast every year some amount of time as a church together. I really believe there's some incredible things happening in the midst of this fast and what God's doing. And so part of what I want to do today, and we're going to talk about, is not the fast per se, but just rhythms for the new year, what we think about, how can we win in 2026, right? Because we all want to do that. So why don't you jump in with the beginning, if that works?
Yeah, sure. So I think at the beginning of the new year, a lot of us come with an expectation that this year is going to be different or better, or I'm going to be better or something. And if we don't have any intentional plans for how we're going to do that or what that even looks like, then it's just like a big list of goals that aren't accomplishable. Wishes, right? So I think even just talking with our kids this year, we have 5 kids, 9 to 18, helping them reflect on this past year and think about the new year. You can set a goal of I want to do this, but if you don't have a plan on how you're going to get there, then it's kind of pointless. So when we think about how we step into a new year and how we think about goals and habits, we think a lot about rhythms and routines. And if I want to do this by October, what do I need to do January 1st, January 10th, January 20th in order to accomplish that goal, to be that person, to make that shift in my life? So really more about like routines and rhythms than just setting big goals for ourselves.
Yeah. What do I want? What do I want my life to look like in November?
Yeah.
And I think that what I've learned about rhythms, and when I think about how I've changed, I used to write 25 goals in January every single year of what I wanted to accomplish this year, you know? Now I try to do a couple of different things. I think about what do I want my life to look like at the end of the year? Who do I want to be as a husband, as a dad, as a pastor, as a friend, just really as a follower of Jesus? Who do I want to be?
Yeah.
The thing though that maybe will help some people with today that's helped me is I need to get early wins. I need to find different things in my rhythms that I'm winning at, because otherwise I give up or I quit so early in the process. Meaning, well, my goals are pretty similar. I want to be healthy physically. I want to be healthy mentally, you know, spiritually. I want to grow in some different things. Well, those things don't happen overnight. So how do I build in healthy, quick wins? Those are things I've done that's helped me quite a bit.
So what are some of those for you for this year? Some of those healthy, quick wins. Like what are you doing in January to get some of those wins?
Well, so for instance, is like my goal is to do aerobic exercise 6 days a week, because I'm reading this book called Younger Next Year, because I'm 45. And so now I think about things like that, but I didn't think about that when I was in my 30s. And basically these authors are like, 4 days a week aerobic exercise is pointless. You have to do at least 6. I don't know if they're right or not, but I'm taking it as a challenge. So when I'm walking or jogging or stair stepper machine, or if I'm on the exercise bike, I'm just get a win today.
Yeah.
Get like, if you just show up, you win. So I'm just trying to show up.
It's good.
And another thing I do, you can do almost anything for like a minute. And so when you're pushing yourself, if you're just like, I can do this for a minute, it helps me get a quick win.
That's good.
What are you thinking about in big picture for the new year?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I did this year, and actually I didn't even do it until...
I love that you did that. I know what you're going to say. It was so great. Because we're married, same mind.
I didn't do it
Unagi.
What is that?
I don't know. I heard it in a movie once.
I didn't even do it till the beginning of January, but I really like I'm not your Christmas is over on the 26th, take everything down, pack it up, start the new year. Like I'm
enjoy
like,
it.
Just want to be slow and enjoy family and rest and games and just take it slow until the new year. So it was into January 1st, 2nd, but I sat down and just went through reflection sheets of different areas of my life, my emotional health, my physical health, my spiritual disciplines, relationships. Where did I win last year?
Yeah.
What was I really happy about? What did I feel like I missed last year? What are things that I wish I had done different, or like look back on and like, man, I missed it there. I want to do better there. So it just helped me identify like, this is good. I want to keep doing this,
right.
Or these are some gaps that I missed in this past year. I'm going to go ahead and intentionally plan for some of that next year. So it was really helpful to be reflective.
Do you recall what that was like? It was something that the specific questions was something you found?
Yeah, I printed it out. Like,
do you know what it is? If we could link it into the show notes?
Yeah, we can link it in the show notes. I think I know what it is, but I don't want to say it out loud right now in case
we'll try to find that just to help you.
I've done othose in the past. This one was a little more extensive. It was like 8 pages long, but it was really good.
It was too much for me because I'm like short stints, but I love the idea.
Yeah,
and
I didn't do it all in one sitting either.
Right.
I just took time to really just reflect, because you can sit down and you can make a bunch of goals for your year, but if you never reflect on the past year or the past 2 years, like, how do you know where you want to make changes? So how do you know where you want to grow?
That's so true in the point of journaling. Not necessarily what we're talking about today, but certainly the habit of journaling is really important for everybody. But if you don't then go back and look at the things that you've journaled, then I'm not saying it was a waste of time, but it was not as useful and productive as it could be. It also build for you the reason journaling matters so much. If you go back and read the things that you've written and see how prayers were answered, see different things that you got from a message or from a book or just something in a moment that was going on. So I love that you did that. I think that's great. The difference between resolutions and rhythms. When we were kids, certainly when we were kids, young adults, resolutions were still huge. Everybody gets a New Year's resolution and, whatever. And we have learned that resolutions aren't necessarily the answer. Resolutions are more like goals.
Yeah.
Rhythms are more like habits. I do think it's important to still have goals, though. And I think that we have to figure out how to do both of those things. Are there any goals or rhythms that you have for this year that you'd be willing to share with the world?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I have goals. And it's not that and I certainly don't mean to say that I don't have goals. Like I do
I think
have
that
goals.
you have lots of goals.
I just think that with those goals, they have to be broken down into rhythms to achieve the goals. So like having a goal to read, 30 books.
Right.
That's great. But if I don't have a rhythm of I'm going to read for 30 minutes a day at this time, then I'm not going to ever get to that goal because I'm going to miss 5 days, 10 days. Same with reading the Bible. If I have a goal to read the Bible in a year, well, that's great. But if I don't read a little bit every day,
right,
I'm not going to reach that goal. So, I mean, I have a goal to read the Bible in a year.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that most years, but
you're going to achieve
I do
that goal
by having a plan, having a certain time when I'm reading and setting that goal and working towards it. I have a goal to be healthier this year physically. Just a few different things in my body that I'd like to see different. And they're not going to be different just because I write down,
Right.
I want to be stronger this year. I have to actually intentionally add weights back in. That was one of the things I missed this past year. The second half of the year, like my weightlifting and running just totally fell off.
Right.
Other things took priority over it. And so that's a goal that I have this year, but it happens in a rhythm of working out.
A couple of my rhythms for this year, and I'm off to a strong start. So I just want to let everybody know that I'm off to a strong start.
Congratulations.
But I'm reading a ton, and I've done this in the past, and it falls off. So this year I'm committed to make it through. But every day to read 30 pages in a spiritual book, meaning just like discipleship, theological growth, and then 30 minutes in some style of leadership or wisdom, 30 pages. I could add to that. But the amount of books that you can read, if you will read 30 pages a day in a book, will blow everyone's mind. Yeah. And certainly for us talking about that, those of you that have kids, if you have kids that aren't really readers and they think reading is so much, if you spend, so I'm saying 30 pages for me, if you read 10 pages in a book a day, your kids are going to knock out one book per month. And so adults, if you read 10 pages per day, you will knock out at least for the most part one book per month. So just to help you in that, I would encourage you with that. As we talked Bible, have that time in the morning. We do that. If you don't get done, read the Bible more later in the day. It's just really important.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say on Bible reading too, we do think it's significant to read the Bible in a year. Like you're reading all of God's word, but it doesn't mean just breezing through it as fast as you can so you can check it off. Like we do take time to slow down and soak in it. So just one of the things, for our Bible reading plan, I might have 4 chapters that I'm reading that day, but I may spend, 70% of the time of that time in one of those chapters, right? We can read slow within a Bible in a year plan.
It's the get a word from the word every single day. I talked about that at our church on Sunday morning, on the first Sunday of the year. And that, if we will stay consistent in that rhythm, and that's what you're saying, like you will stay longer in different places because that's where word's coming alive to you more. But you're
and that's the difference with a goal to finish the Bible in a year plan versus the goal to hear from God. Like if I'm coming to the word to check this box, or if I'm coming to the word because I want to hear from God, like we can do the same thing with a different heart intention.
I really love that. Maybe you could say that in the same thing in different words. And I'll say, I'm confusing myself with my words right now. So welcome to this word salad. But what I'm trying to articulate is that I believe that we live in a generation where I've heard both younger people and adults say, well, I don't read the Bible in a year because I don't necessarily understand what I'm reading, or, I'm only going to read this amount of the Bible because that's all I have time for. And what you just said was so clear of, there's a reason to do both.
Yeah, there's a reason to do both. There's a reason to get the whole picture of Scripture, to just read through the stories, even if they're not sinking in deeply, even if all of it isn't sinking in deeply, we're getting a general idea of who God is and the story of God. But then also taking time to go deeper in some areas, in some parts of the Bible. And honestly, it doesn't have to be at the same time. You can read the Bible more than once in a day.
Right.
I think about how many times we pick up our phone and open a social media app or open a news app. I mean, I think we'd probably all make ourselves sick if we looked at our screen time and looked at how many pickups we have in a day. You can read the Bible multiple times a day, and I can be reading my Bible reading plan because I want to read the breadth of Scripture. I want to understand the bigger picture of God. And then I also have study where I can go deeper into one part of it. So you can do both within a Bible reading plan, because a Bible in a year reading plan takes 15 minutes a day.
And to be honest, 15 minutes is max.
You can stretch that to 30 minutes. You can stretch it to 40 minutes. And that's still shorter than most of our screen time.
15 minutes max as the minimum, meaning some people you can read it in 10 minutes a day, depending on your reading speed. But like you just said, you can make it last much longer.
Yeah.
I would just throw this out there too. One of the things that I've done this year, that you've done these things in the past too, is put limits on your apps on your phone. So if you use a smartphone and you have apps, put limits on any of those apps that are not just productivity apps. So social media style apps, news style apps, man, really 15 minutes, probably a max on most time you need on apps. And I've done that with Instagram this year. And what it actually caused me to do is I use Instagram even less. Almost every day I use it even less than my time limit, because it's just made me go, I don't even want to waste time here. I want to make sure I'm more where I need to be. Let's talk about prayer, because I think that to win a year always is prayer is the seed of all of it. I think that the most important rhythm any of us ever can have is prayer, and prayer is often misunderstood. And so for each of us to talk about it, just what prayer looks like for you, I'll share what prayer looks like for me, and just what we would offer to people.
Yeah. You may share what prayer looks like for me?
What is your rhythm of prayer?
Well, I start every day with the Lord's Prayer, and then I pray, usually then gratitude, praising God for whatever I'm thinking of that day. And then I pray for my family, pray for each of my family members by name. I have a couple of scriptures that I usually set for each year that I'm praying through those specific scriptures. And then whatever's, on my mind, that's in the morning before I read the Bible, and praying for God to speak to me through the word. And then throughout the day, different points throughout the day. One of the things that I have a goal to do this year is to have a midday prayer time. That's every day, that I actually stopping and praying, not just I thought of it, or sometimes I've had where I'll set an alarm to pray for a specific person or a specific situation, but to actually just have a midday prayer time. 20 minutes where I stop, and this is what I'm doing for 20 minutes. So, that's a lot of what I'm doing. But I think the thing about prayer that is, I'm hoping to learn more, I guess, and really experience more. I believe that prayer it's not about getting something from God, but it's really just about forming our hearts and aligning our hearts with His. And it's it's a process,
right?
A slow process. Formation is such a slow process that you can't necessarily see it. It's not just about placing your order in the drive-through, God, I want to have a good day today.
Comparison that it's not.
I want, fix this problem in my life.
Right.
But it's really about shaping our heart to be more like Him, asking Him to shape our thoughts and our words and our actions to hear. I mean, one really important aspect of prayer is listening, not just talking.
And I think, listening to you say that, I think it's key for us to know we don't master prayer. The goal isn't to master prayer. The goal is to pray.
And pray more.
And just being in it and living in that life. For me, obviously our prayer, I say obviously because we live together, there's similarities to our prayer routines, I start my morning with the Lord's Prayer. I usually wake up praying in tongues, and then I will usually be praying in tongues as I make coffee, and then I'll pray the Lord's Prayer. I'll write my gratitude journal. I have some other scriptures in my prayer liturgy that I go through every single morning. The fruit of the Spirit is such an important thing that I pray every single day, because I want to make sure that I remind myself this is what the Holy Spirit's doing in me today. If I will submit to Him, I think about guarding my heart every single day, and how can I do that? I pray for my family. I pray for our church. I pray for other things. One of the things that is a practice that is important for me is I pray when somebody comes to my mind, I pray for them. And I think sometimes we overcomplicate prayer, but if you want to pray more in 2026, when somebody comes into your mind, just pray for them. And it can be simple. God, move in their life. God, answer that prayer that they need right now. Sometimes you'll know they have a need. Sometimes you won't know what their need is, but make sure you just pray for people when they come to your mind. The prayer room. We have so many opportunities in our church to engage in the prayer room. And I've been following Jesus for, I guess it's been about all in following Jesus for 21 years or so now. And I think that being in the prayer room is one of the most important formational things you can do in prayer. And so if you're part of our Life Church family, whatever location you might go to, when the prayer room's open, get in the prayer room, because it just forms you in a different way. It makes you realize prayer's not magical. It's submitting to a thing that, man, the rest of the culture doesn't know why this is important.
Yeah.
But
well, and I think too on the
so
prayer
foundational.
room, yes, you can pray at home, and we should pray at home.
Totally.
A lot of people are like, well, I don't need to come to church to pray, or I can pray at home. And absolutely you can and you should. But there is something significant about gathering together to pray, coming together with other believers to pray. Our faith is built when we pray together. When we're led in prayer, we learn how to pray. Like I experience God in a unique way.
Love it.
In corporate prayer.
Love it. So final couple things for today's conversation. First, all of us need rhythms. Like and we're not trying here today to be like, hey, here's all of our rhythms. This year's happening. It's going to keep happening. If you want the year to happen just to you, then don't have rhythms and just see what happens. But if you want to happen to the year instead, then you could have habits and you could have rhythms.
And it's never too late.
It's never too late to start. So here's the thing though. Sometimes comparison can create a pressure. We look at what other people are doing. And I do think it's healthy to have, though, comparison at times to learn from. I don't know if you have thoughts. I have a couple about how does that work when you think about how do we encourage in rhythms and not feel pressure from knowing what other people are doing in their rhythms?
You're asking?
I'm asking you. You don't have to answer. You can. You can say
I would
pass.
just say that I think that comes from having discernment and asking God, like, what's healthy for me? What do I need to do right now? Because I do think it is super helpful to share. I learned so much from other people and rhythms that they have in their life. But it comes back to asking God, does that rhythm work for me? Because there are friends I have who have, really cool rhythms in their life, and they're great and they're working for them, and I'm inspired by them. It encourages me. But some of those things don't fit my life, or they're not what God's asked me to do in this season, or whatever it is. So I think we can be encouraged by each other. We can be spurred on by one another. But if we get to where we're comparing ourselves as better or worse or some sort of hierarchy with other people, then we're missing the point.
Yeah, I think that I think the hierarchy you said is so true. I was thinking about, for today's conversation, it helps me know what other people have as their rhythms to push me. And I think it's important that we recognize that pressure can be a good thing. Yeah. This, out of context, what I'm about to say could be taken the wrong way, but I think we've made a lot of weak, soft people in life over the last 5 to 10 years, maybe longer, where we think it's okay to just not push ourselves and to just say, well, that doesn't work for me. And there are specific rhythms, as you just said, that each of us need to have. And I think it's so important to have them. But there's people I know that they pray 3 hours a day, like devoted. I don't do that, but you know what? I want to. I want to figure out how could I get that, so I don't feel like a failure because I'm not. But I also don't think I'm supposed to just be like, well, that's their thing, that's not my thing. I'm saying, God, how can I grow in that? So I would encourage us, all of us this year even, to say, how can I let a little pressure be a good thing instead of just being like, oh, well, I'm just good with my 5 minutes of time, in some of the important spiritual rhythms. So,
well, and I would say to that too, that asking God for a hunger to grow
is so important.
Because when we have a hunger to grow, we're not having a hunger to just like measure up to someone else's standard. We're having a hunger to grow and know God more, and He will show us ways to do that.
Yeah, totally. Any last thoughts in rhythms
I think
for the year?
2026 is going to be our best year ever.
Come on.
These rhythms are going to make it amazing. I'm going to stick to it, and then we're going to start over when we mess up.
That's beautiful. Start over when you mess up. Even in this fast, if you're watching this during the fast, as it drops, I tell people all the time, if you're in this 21 days of fasting and
don't quit.
If you end up being like, man, I ate a whole pizza last night, well, get right back on the fast in the morning. Don't just quit and give up, because that's the principle of it. Keep going, keep the rhythms. And I'm just hanging on what you said.
The purpose is not perfection.
Yeah.
It's being a little bit better, growing a little bit more every day.
The purpose is the process.
There you go.
The process is the purpose.
Something like that.
That's what I was thinking about, though, in Genesis when it said Abraham became wealthy in Egypt, because in the process, his wealth increased.
There you go.
So in the process, God's doing something great. So yeah, 2026, our best year ever. We'll see you soon.